Hello and welcome to the show today. I'm really glad you could join us. So today we're talking about something really big to your organization, which is kind of how you look in the media. We're going to talk about how to land national media attention and really be seen as a power player. This is the difference between the ones that aren't just small businesses, but make themselves look small, and businesses that make themselves look way bigger, even when they're not. It's all the key to it, the secret ingredient. Secret ingredient is all has to do with PR. I keep saying ingredient instead of ingredient, but you'll forgive me. So the secret ingredient is absolutely PR. And with us today is Ashley Crouch. Now, Ashley is the founder of Appleseed Communications. And Ashley's writing appears in Entrepreneur, Forbes, the New York Times, and many more. She's trained over 2,000 people to date worldwide on visibility and publicity strategy. And she's an international speaker on leadership, on publicity, on strategy, as well as entrepreneurship. Now, Ashley and her business have been featured in American Express Open, Today.com, Brit Co, Huffington Post, and many more. She was a Forbes Under 30 nominee for 2017 in Social Entrepreneurship. And she's also the author of the #1 international best-selling book, Unforgettable, How to Stop Playing Small, Land National Media Attention, and Position Yourself as a Power Player. Ashley, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Ty. I'm so excited. This is the topic to talk about in 2020.
Yeah, well, well, talk to me more about that. Why do you think that this is the topic to talk about this year?
Yeah. So what I found this year is that people came into the year with big plans, big hopes, big dreams, probably going to roll out a new offer. They're going to scale, do at least 200% growth. And everyone had a whole plan for how 2020 was going to be the year of 2020 vision, a whole new start. And then all of a sudden, the world came to a screeching halt. And with it, many access points to revenue streams. And so what has happened is a lot of people built their business on the back of speaking, on the back of networking events, on the back of hosting conferences and retreats where you get 300 people in a room and you enroll them into your programs from there. And what has happened is that has dried up. And now we're all sitting at home, and it's leveled the playing field for people with billion-dollar companies to people who are just getting started. And actually, I call PR, the acronym PR, is Pivot and Rise, because this is now the moment where in doing PR, you can be sitting from the comfort of your living room and being interviewed by a top anchor at CBS or ABC or NBC who's also sitting in the comfort of their living room. And now we have access to all of these top tier people that want to hear from you. And so it is one of the only remaining marketing channels that exists, and it needs to be a huge focus in your business now and looking ahead at least the next 6 months, where you're placing those deposits to invest in your personal brand. You can come out of this on a better side.
So what is that? That is such a phenomenal point, because you're right. I mean, nowadays it used to be like you had to fly. I've got a buddy that does a lot on Fox. He used to go to Atlanta every single time he speaks to them. But nowadays all that stuff's at home. So what has that done? It's got to cause such a major disruption for your industry.
It's a huge disruption, but it's also the best thing ever, because I was talking with someone last week. She's in Tel Aviv. She used to fly to LA, to New York, to all these places, like you said, for one media interview. And, it looks cool. You get the cool studio background, you get some behind the scenes footage for your social media platforms. But now you can sit from the comfort of your living room and you can broadcast just like we're doing. And what this is you are placing deposits in your personal brand. Coming into this year, a lot of people were thinking, if I just hustle harder, I go to more events, I go to more networking events, or I speak as much as possible, I will be able to build my business. And actually, the red carpet will roll out for me. And what I say, Ty, is the red carpet doesn't roll out for you. That is a huge myth. You have to build your own red carpet. And there are pillars to a personal brand that is prestigious and high end. There are pillars that you have to put in place, and there's a sequence to rolling them out. Okay. And so what has happened is now you can put those pillars in place and be really strategic, because the people who did not invest in their personal brand, they're struggling right now. No one knows who they are. There were 60 million freelancers coming into 2020, according to an Intuit study. 60 million, but that's freelancers by choice. Right? Now we have who knows how many more millions of people who've been laid off. We all know a friend who's been laid off. And all these people have 30 years expertise. They sound amazing. But when you're trying to attract your target customer, those clients and customers now don't know who's better than the other. So they're looking for those credibility markers, those authority pieces, and those pillars to indicate, no, this is actually the go-to person. So the people who didn't have a very prestigious personal brand, they're really struggling right now. They're scrambling, trying to find anything that can put food on the table. The people who do have a prestigious personal brand, they're riding on that through this year. People, as soon as they have the money, they're spending it with them. So this is what it's so important right now, that even if you don't feel like, gosh, my business is stalling, I don't know if I have the money to invest here, this is critical because it will pay you in dividends, so to say, for the next, 10 years, because you'll always have those logos, you'll always have those video assets, and you can use them in your funnels and attract people into your business for years after.
Yeah, I love this. I mean, I just got off a webinar talking about credibility when it comes to getting money and the importance of it. And what you're
Yeah.
talking about is the credibility of even running a successful business. So what are these pillars of establishing a prestigious personal brand?
Yeah. Okay. So this is my favorite topic ever. There's a few different ways to do it. You want to think about it. Let's see, first of all, if you don't have a platform, you need to leverage another platform to propel your own. This is very key. Anybody who wants to get money in the door, same thing. Clients and customers, it's money in the door. So you need to leverage another platform to propel your own. There's a couple key ways you can do it. Number one, you can start with a book. Anybody who has a book, maybe they had a failed launch, didn't get as far as they wanted to, we can turn that ship around. We can get you Wall Street Journal bestsellers, USA Today bestsellers. We can start to elevate and use that book as a key in the door to higher and higher ticket platforms. Okay, so a book is a type of platform, it's a key in the door. Another one could be a TED Talk. You could, maybe you don't have a TED Talk yet. You can start with a TED Talk. We have, on my team, we have trainers, 25 years experience to find your big idea and to place you in a TED Talk, guaranteed. So they place over 200 people. That's another platform because you have that brand. Everyone loves that red circle and they're still booking. So you can use a TED Talk. Another one would be national media. And I like to hang here for a second because a lot of people talk about podcasts, and I call that as a foundation. You always want to have that spinning. But the national media outlets have those logos: ABC, NBC, CBS, the business outlets, Fast Company, Forbes, Inc., Entrepreneur. You do not need 20. But if you can get 3 to 5 key logos by your name, you can leverage those because you can put them in your funnel. And I know we're going to talk about that marketing strategies, but those would be key because as soon as you get the national platforms, all the other platforms get in line to feature you. So you get twice the impact in half the time. I call it triggering the domino effect. So if you have not yet tried your hand in media, most people say start at the bottom, work your way up. I say work with me. We'll get you in national media, and then all the other outlets will get in line to feature you, and you're good to go.
So you can do so. You can start at the national level because I've heard the same thing. You got to start at the bottom and work your way up. So if you can somebody get and start with the top, even if they don't have the book yet or don't have the TED Talk yet?
Oh my gosh, yes. And this is the biggest myth of all time. Most trainers say start at the bottom, you have a pyramid, you need to check some boxes, earn your stripes. And I say, look, if you're running a business, you're probably wearing 5 different hats at any given moment. Why allocate the same amount of time to smaller outlets that won't move the needle in your business when you could go direct to the top? I have one client, she came to me, never been featured anywhere before. Not one whisper on her cousin's blog. Okay. So she had a tech platform and she was a lawyer and she helped people with immigration to come into this country. Talk about a timely topic. But she didn't know what her angles were. So I have a signature system and I work with you to craft your personal angle so it perfectly matches who you are, who your target customer is, and the headlines that they would click on. Her first feature ever was in Fast Company with a full profile on her, doubled her business. She got 100,000 people visiting her website. Her next feature was O Magazine. They came to her because they saw the feature, said, "You're amazing. Can we place you as our featured trailblazer for the September issue?" And it just went from there. So it's about getting that story angle right. But as soon as you dial that in with a strategist, you're good to go.
Wow, that's phenomenal. Why else do you think that this is so important with PR? Because this is kind of from my take. I think a lot of entrepreneurs have this take. We have the pay per click, the spend where we get a direct response for what we
Yeah.
do. And then we
Yeah.
have branding, right? And we kind of categorize PR and branding world. And so I think a lot of people have this barrier where they think that by spending money on PR, it might give them exposure, it might not, but they might get results, they might not. And so a lot of people neglect PR, I kind of find. Whether that's right or
Yeah.
wrong. I mean, so what's your take on that? Is
I
PR really a
agree.
branding play, or can it really be used to be able to get you these kind of results?
I agree with you 1,000%. And we fix that problem because for 3 years, I've been saying that there's major problems in the PR industry. PR has notoriously done a bad job of doing good work. Okay. I actually wrote about it in Forbes and talked about how publicists are no longer using a model that serves you as the client because they want to get a hit to say they featured you, but it might not actually grow your business if you get a hit at all. I can't tell you how many horror stories I've heard of people who've spent $100,000 and got one feature or $60,000 and got nothing. And I get excited when I hear that because I know we can fix it. So this year, PR is like considered a necessary evil. And what I found is that in my business, people didn't just cut budgets, they cut entire line items. And PR was one of the first line items to go because you are paying for a service, $5,000, $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month, but you don't know what you're going to get. You don't know if you're going to get anything at all. And if you do get something, maybe it didn't help you. So here's what we did, Ty, and I'm obsessed with this. We went and partnered with a Facebook ad agency because we said, look, for all the numbers people in here building businesses, you need to know that you're not just paying for a service, you're paying for a service and you're buying a product and it's an asset. But I said, okay, how can we prove that this is an asset? So we went to a Facebook ad agency and we did a whole series of data tests where we analyzed if you put a national media feature in your funnel, what percentage does it improve your ROI? Does it lower your cost? How do you use it to grow your business? So we found that in a data set with all the same copy, if you put a national media story as the image, so it's like, wow, Ty's been featured in Forbes, check out this interview, versus like a boomerang photo, a boomerang or a video or a photo, it decreases your CPL, right, by 121%.
Wow,
You can't
that's
find that
crazy.
anywhere. Yeah, it increases the conversion by 43%. And anybody who wants this data, I can send it to you. We now have the definitive results. And people were closing cold traffic into a $15,000 offer, coaching offer. They were closing cold traffic from a national media story into book a call and closing $15,000 offers. So it's about engineering the story. And this is how we now know you are actually buying an asset. So I can send the data to anybody who wants to see that. But here's the number two thing, which is really important. And I know all the numbers people are going to love this. So we said, all right, look, in the industry, most people, they pitch and they're constantly pitching the media. And you'll probably hear things like, look, it's just a bad time. Everyone's talking about politics right now. No one wants to hear about, your lifestyle product, your new, beauty product. Everyone's talking about COVID right now. It's just a hard time. But rest easy. I've pitched them for you. We're just following up. You're going to hear that for 6 months. So what we did is I went behind the scenes and I started going to my TV producer friends, my writer friends, the people that I've known. They know that, number one, we do strategy like nobody else. So we hand everything to them on a silver platter, make their life super easy. I said, look, we need to have a partnership here. So Ty, I created the anti-PR agency. So now the media is pitching me for my people. And I need more people because I've literally got things on my desk. It's like holiday gift guides for mommy products, TV spots that are good to go. CBS New York is wanting people. And I now get to match my people with the media. So we can guarantee placement. And that is the kind of ROI where you know you're paying for a service, but you're paying for an asset and a product as well.
Ashley, you're talking about a real disruption in your guys' industry. I've never heard anybody in PR talk the way you talk, and I've got some friends in there, right? So where are they messing up? What do you see that is so problematic and frustrating that most publicists do that, in my opinion, just give PR a bad name that you're really working on fixing? Because it sounds like you're making huge strides there.
Yeah, I'm trying to heal the industry from the inside out. One of the things that I talked about in my Forbes article was there's three main issues that are happening, and people need to know this before you hire anybody. And I create a video, 7 questions you need to ask before you hire a PR firm, because you need to really know you're getting the right person. And it might not be me, but at least you know what the questions are. So I have that on YouTube, and I can send that to you guys. Anybody wants that? This is the issue. A lot of PR people will come to you and say, "You're absolutely amazing. We're going to get you everywhere." They will promise you the world, almost to getting a billboard in Times Square. And it sounds really, really good. But the model of doing business has changed. Okay. And how granular do you want me to go with this? Because I can really help describe what's happening, or I can just
I'd love to
recap.
know. I'd love to know because, like I said, I this is so different than anything I've ever heard from somebody in PR.
Okay. So we can go into it. Um, a lot of PR industry, a lot of publicists and PR agencies, they still send press releases. Okay. That is founded on a 20th century model when there were only 3 to 5 different outlets, big name, CNN, like the top, that were getting any placements at all. You had to send a press release, and almost the only people that got featured would be the likes of top tier celebrities. So people think if I send a press release about this little startup, they will get the same result. But that's not true, because press releases only work in like a music industry and like celebrities. They don't work as much anymore, but people are using the same old models. So what's happening, the entire way of getting results has changed. Okay. So what is happening is the technique is still, they're going out to say, is this working?
Yep, I'm here. Ashley, you cool? Can you hear me
Okay,
okay?
good. So
Uh,
what,
we like
yeah,
disconnected there.
we're back.
I was good. We can still hear you though.
Okay. Okay, good. So what's happening is they're operating by a spray and pray model to get you quantity. Okay. You don't want a spray and pray model. That does not work. It does not serve you. That's the first thing. The second thing is they're starting small. People are starting with the lowest tier outlet before bringing you to the higher ticket outlets. Okay. Also, it doesn't work. You should be starting with the highest outlet first, and all the other ones will get in line to feature you. The third problem is there's no strategy in alignment with what is your unique story, what does your target customer want from you, what headline would they click on, and what outlet do you need to be featured in? Because it will not serve you if you're in the Today Show and your client is a finance guy. That's not going to serve the business. So, what we do is work through the actual strategy to build the alchemy of the headlines and place them strategically. You might only need 3 to 5 outlets by your name to use them as assets in your funnel. But let's make sure that that work is done on the front end so that every placement you get is a true growth producing asset for your business.
What does it really take though to be able to land that kind of national media attention? I mean, is it really possible for like a regular small business to be able to do so, but just by making, not just by, but with the help of you crafting the right story for them?
Totally. And Ty, it does not have to be that hard. Let me give you an example. A client of mine, his name is Neil. Okay. Neil used to work in New York City, a very prestigious career, but it wasn't super meaningful. So he started becoming a coach, and he was working in the speaking space. Neil had been in a PR program for 6 months, pitching every Wednesday, hundreds of pitches. Okay. Nothing, getting Nothing. Just imagine how frustrating that is. I meet him at a housewarming party. We're chatting. He tells me the struggles. He says, this is just not working. I said, you give me one day, I will fix it for you. I know exactly what's going on. And so we started working in a VIP day setting, and I retooled his story angle, his headlines, and his pitch letter. That's it. And he sent me a message. He said, Ashley, I just got gold and life is forever changed. I got a yes from Fortune within 48 hours, a yes from Forbes within 7 days, a yes from Business Insider, like in the next month. And now he's a top contributor at entrepreneur.com. And he sent 6 emails, 6 pitches, and got that result because it's about using the language that they want to hear from you.
So in your world, not only do you do this for people, but you help teach them the principles they need to be able to succeed on their own as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a skill set like anything else. But if you have an assistant, they can do it for you. We can train them in that. They can use a program. It's the easiest thing in the world. I mean, I don't want to say it doesn't take effort. It takes some effort, but it's about the purposeful planting of the story. And the media needs to hear from you. You're doing them a favor. That's a business like anything else. It lives on stories. So they want good stories, and they want to know that you understand the kinds of stories they need to hear.
Why do we suck so bad at telling stories to entrepreneurs? Like, I mean, we're horrific at it. You know that. We're really bad. And there are stories. We should know them. Why are we so bad at this? Have you been able to figure that out?
I know it's the most, well, the thing is, stories are so native to the human experience, right? We used to sit around the campfires and tell these stories. But
Right.
the thing is, in the media, it has to be distilled down so small that most people don't think that way. Most people don't think in sound bites. They don't think in tweets. They don't think in headlines. So it's just a skill. And what happens is, I'll give you a failed story, okay? I got a client into the New York Times. I'm sitting in New York. They said, yeah, we want to hear from you. This client talked for 2 hours, Ty. 2 hours. And I was trying to train her, but it was like, no, we're good. I'm just going to like go in and get this done. And it was a missed opportunity because you have to know the right angle and the way to talk in the story hooks that they're looking for. You can't just say anything. But like, I didn't know. I mean, I grew up at the end of a dirt road in Arkansas, like fed 100 chickens twice a day. I was not trained in this at all. So I'm right there with you. Like when people told me and I was just getting started, you need to tell your story, tell your story. Well, I didn't know what a good story was from a bad one. And it can feel like throwing spaghetti against the wall, you know? So that's why it's important to work with somebody who's trained in the language. All it is a translation issue. You have the story inside of you. It's just about locking it into those like 5 words that people want to hear. That's it.
What about Haro? Helping a reporter out. I've heard a lot of people at least some people in PR, but a lot of people outside of it talk about Haro and that it's a good way to get media placements. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's evolved. Haro can work for people that are getting started, just want to see what they can get. The issue is that with Haro, you're going to have writers already talking about certain angles and already writing certain stories. It may or may not match your ultimate brand or exactly what you're talking about. I've had people, they place 100 times through Haro, but is it really about the business or is it about a vanity metric to get a ton of features? You can try it. Let me know how it goes. You can get some features through there. My position on the matter is that it's better to get really strategic on the story angle you're trying to tell for your business and then place those stories. And what we're doing now is we can guarantee placement with our network and the alliances that we have. We can guarantee placement within a certain period of time. So I would prefer to go the more strategic route. But if you're just getting started, you want to see how it goes, and this is training, you listen to this podcast, you're getting some new ideas on ways to approach it, by all means, try Haro out. Let me know how it goes.
So what about us building the relationships? Does it make sense? Because you just talked about a great story of somebody that went in and started getting all these placements and they're doing the work on their own. They have a VIP day with you that teaches them how to do it. So should I be doing that?
Yeah.
Like theoretically, as an entrepreneur, should I be trying to build these high level relationships with media sources, or am I better left just to leave it to people like you that already have those relationships built?
It's about where you want to allocate your time. So you will get the result either way. You will get the result if you do it on your own. Let's say we do the strategy for you and then you go and pitch yourself, or you have someone do it for you. You will get the result. If you have the time to do it, by all means, build those relationships. They can be long term partnerships for you, and you will continue to nurture them. If you don't have the time, time is money. Do you want to buy time for yourself? That's what you'd be doing by outsourcing it. If you do want, let's say someone's listening to this, they want to try it out. I would say the first thing you need to do is think about what's an appropriate angle that would work for you. And I'll tell you how to find it. Okay. I created 13 different angle types that work at the national media level. So you want to get in Forbes, Fortune, Entrepreneur. These are the angles that work. Okay. For the purpose of this podcast, I'll teach you one or two. The angle that you're looking for in your story, how you grew up, what the narrative arc of your business has been, the results your clients are getting. The angle would be it would be a low to high arc. A low to high arc is that rags to riches tale. So do an audit of your life or your client's successes or the service that you offer, and see if you can find any rags to riches tales. People who've overcome financial debt, paid off $30,000 in 6 months, done the impossible, right? That triumph. And see if that arc matches what your target customer wants from you. Okay. So let me give you an example. We all know the story of the football player who got an injury and then slept on his sister's couch and was broke. And now he's built this amazing empire called the School of Greatness. That is the low to high arc. And Lewis Howes, has leveraged that arc for years to propel his business forward. And he was featured on Ellen. So it works. But make sure that your target customer wants that angle. That's very important. It's about empathy. So let's say a service that you offer is how to help people get out of debt in 6 months or less. Your target customer wants that from you. You offer services for that. So you pitch that angle to the media and you find the writers that write about that topic. And if you don't know any of the writers and they're complete strangers and you're totally afraid and you don't know how to reach out to them, just get on a Google Chrome plugin. It's totally free for the first certain amount per month. And they give you contact for senior writers, assistant writers, all these different media people. Gary Vee is on there. The plugin is called Rocket Reach. Go download it, super easy, and you can start pitching that way. And that's one story angle type that you can use to get featured at the national level as early as tomorrow.
It's been phenomenal talking to you today. And I'll talk to you as we wrap up too, because a lot of the things you say make a perfect sense to me. And really this interview's changed my perspective on PR. Cause like I said, I've been brought up in business that it's a branding play, right? And branding always takes a back seat to direct response. It's just the way that it is. But what you're talking about changes my whole perspective on that, where it's really not. I mean, this could be more of powerful than direct response by far, because we've all seen the Chewbacca mom. We've all seen these stories of virality that, I mean, companies are made, right? We see that on Shark Tank all the time. That one bit of exposure, the one shot propels how many of these companies, several of them to $1 billion plus evaluations. And I think about that as an entrepreneur. It's one shot. It's getting in one place and mass exposure. And that one shot of adrenaline of mass exposure, it makes these brands. And we all can go on and on about stories. So thanks for coming on with us today. What as we wrap up, what are the things have we not talked about that you really think everybody watching and listening today should know?
Yeah. So the first thing I want to tell people, and thank you, Ty, for saying that. First thing I want to tell people is PR is the foundation of your business growth. It's the foundation. Most people think it's a cherry on top. So when you place those stories strategically at the beginning of your business, at the highest level, you can leverage them to propel your business forward for years to come. If you get nothing else out of this interview and I helped you rethink PR a little bit in that way, then I've done my job here. And that's why my website is unknowntounforgettable.com. Because when you go there and you really understand the power of this industry and do it the right way, it is game over.
All right. So unknown to unforgettable.com.
That's it.
Cool. Ashley, is that where everybody should go learn more?
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks again for coming on with us today.
Thanks for having me.
So everybody, I love as she just wrapped this up with what she said. It's not the sugar on top. It's not the icing on the cake. It's the foundation, and it really is. And I think that hopefully this has changed your perception, because I know it has mine. I'm going to hang out with Ashley afterwards and talk about how we can get into a consult, because this is really important. And like I said, we think again and again and again about the examples of one company that did one thing to get notoriety, right? The most recent thing I think is a dog face and ocean spray, right? I mean, if you see the statistics of what took place in TikTok, and if not, look it up. It's absurd. I mean, it controlled almost every media, from what happened on TV to what controlled with, Fleetwood Mac and their rise up to the top of the charts. There's so many things that happen, and we can all talk about example of where exposure made a brand. Exposure built $1 billion business. It's a real thing. We see it all the time. But there's a disconnect where we don't think that can be us. And I think Ashley's really sat here today and talked about a blueprint where even the small business owner that's just getting started can use PR as a foundational base to be able to have potentially that kind of explosion if you get your story right. And that's what people like Ashley will do. So make sure you visit unknowntounforgettable.com. That's unknowntounforgettable.com. I'm going to put the link on our show resources page to learn more about what you can do to have your foundation built with PR and get major exposure that could be the difference between you remaining a startup or low revenue company and seeing explosive, unprecedented growth. So make sure you check out unknowntounforgettable.com.